I am going to call to order the 2,483rd meeting of the Darien Police Commission. This is a special meeting, so the agenda stands as written. Acceptance of minutes of October 3rd.
Accept.
Second.
Any questions, comments, changes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chief, correspondence?
Only item of correspondence, which we just got today, as a matter of fact, that you all know that retired officer Chris Knight's son was a Stanley Cup champion for the Florida Panthers this year and brought the cup to town, and it was a nice community event. We got some pictures taken. Well, his grandmother, Chris's mother, Spencer Knight's grandmother, sent us these couple of printed out photos of us here at the police department and one down at the beach. Got them in the mail today, thanking us for our efforts escorting the cup around town. If you got permission, we'd like to take a look at that. And it was a surprise to get those, so we sent off a letter thanking her and once again congratulating the family on an amazing accomplishment. So that's the only correspondence I believe we have in here.
Well
Pictures.
received and nice. Captain, department activity.
Sure. Period from October 3rd to October 23rd. Notable incidents. October 1st, a burglary occurred at a residence on Red Mill Lane with nothing taken. The suspect then entered an unlocked vehicle in the garage and later fled in another vehicle, which had been stolen previously in Norwalk. The stolen vehicle was later recovered in New Haven. The incident is under investigation by our detective division. In early October, 2 Newark, New Jersey residents who have been arrested and are in federal custody were identified by our detective bureau as suspects in the May 2024 smash and grab burglary that occurred at 995 Post Road, David Harvey Jewelers. The suspects are being charged in this incident at the federal level.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Captain, that they had hit a couple other jeweler stores in the Fairfield County area too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think there were other similar incidents, right, Chief?
Yeah, there was
In
in
neighboring
Fairfield
agencies.
the same night,
Okay.
and then there have been a couple others, and I think the reason it was brought to the federal level is they're responsible for over 10 million, or close to $10 million in loss
Okay.
up and down the East Coast.
On October 9th at approximately 6 p.m., patrol officers responded to a reported larceny at 94 Heights Road, Lululemon. The store manager reported that 3 males, described as being in their early 20s, coordinated the theft of several items, with one suspect concealing merchandise in a duffel bag before all the suspects fled in a vehicle. The incident is under investigation by our detective division. On October 19th, Darien Board of Education had 2 of their student transport vehicles entered during the overnight hours with nothing taken. It is unknown if the vehicles were locked or unlocked at the time of the incident.
No transport vehicles.
Some statistics: domestic disturbance incidents, there were 1. There were no identity theft incidents. Motor vehicle burglaries, 2 unlocked vehicles, 1 stolen motor vehicle, 25 motor vehicle accidents, 1 with an injury, 5 occurred on private property. A total of 123 traffic stops, 764 calls for service. Also, the department has begun using the new Axon dashboard cameras with automated license plate readers capability, which were installed in all marked patrol vehicles on every patrol shift. The department continues to deploy the movable flock LPR camera throughout the town based on crime and traffic patterns. The department staffed a successful Tokenique Pumpkin Carnival held this past Saturday, October 19th at Tokenique School. That's all I got.
Anything else to add?
Just a couple of comments. I know I normally bring it up, but I just want to give kudos again to our detective division. A lot of these higher profile incidents or some of these that require extensive follow-up maybe get forgotten about by someone who might be watching or reads it in the paper or sees a press release on it, but our detectives do consistently follow up on these investigations, and this jewelry store smash and grab, although it was a pretty high profile incident, a lot of people wanted to know how come we hadn't made the determination of who was responsible for it, as quick as maybe some of the other towns had, or, each incident is investigated independently, and our guys and girls are doing a great job, and that's, it should be noted here that they followed up on a pretty high profile one. They're going to make some good arrests. I also wanted to point out that our custodial arrests are significantly higher this past quarter than they were the quarter before, and I think that, again, that's attached to the efforts of the detective division following up on property crimes. whether it be retail theft, shoplifting, or car burglaries and stolen car theft. So they're doing great follow-up investigations. And then the other thing I wanted to point out was our LPR cameras. Although we're still working on having them installed in our fixed positions, we've been using the mobile LPR camera throughout town pretty regularly, and it's been used for several different incidents, including a real high-profile investigation out of Canada, which identified a homicide suspect. I don't know if we brought that up before. So I'm hoping by the time we have our next police commission meeting, we'll have additional information that we can provide based on the successes of the LPRs, because over the next month, we hope to start having them installed in several locations in town.
Is it worth spending half a minute talking about the 911? Because we had the code red alert go out to everybody.
Sure. I mean, Captain Mastriani may know a little bit more.
Just, it was down for 30 minutes, but, I mean, I think we handled it well and...
Yeah, so I was receiving notification from our IT about some sort of interference that was occurring, and it seemed to be widespread all over Connecticut. I believe at least 50 to 60 agencies were impacted initially. We really didn't know the extent of the interference, but we knew at the time that 911 calls we weren't able to receive any of those calls, and at some point our landlines went down as well. So what we did, we initiated the excuse me, I'm drawing a blank here.
Code
yeah,
red.
excuse me, code red, just to alert the residents. We put out on our social media as well to contact a different phone line, which was a cell phone in one of our supervisor vehicles, to use that in lieu of contacting 911. I believe it lasted a couple hours in total, and then the I believe the issue, it hasn't been confirmed, but there was some sort of fiber cut that occurred in Texas that actually affected us. But everything was restored, and since then it seems to be okay.
Well, I think on behalf of the chief and the commission, you did a very good job in communicating with us. Number one, I think communicating with town hall and most importantly, the residents. So that was well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
The only other thing I'll add is Darien was not targeted.
Yes,
There was a couple of inquiries there, and it was determined to be a technical difficulty and was nothing malicious. So if anybody was wondering
They will.
why it happened in the first place,
Texas, though, I'm shocked.
well,
Didn't know that. Yeah.
a lot of our communications are routed through several locations in the country, and I think I got 25 messages from our company based out of Colorado that day based on the interruptions we were having. And I don't think we had any emergencies in town go unreported or had a lack of a response, so we were...
Yeah, the one thing we did experience, though, which is something we have to consider in the future, is we did encourage residents to utilize our 911 techs. When we put it out there, what was happening, a lot of residents were just testing it out. So we're receiving an abundance of these texts in our 911 system, and it was actually flooding the system and impacting it in a negative way. So that's something that I got to keep in mind, but we all should keep in mind next time something like this happens.
Good point. Okay, I see exactly no one here from the public, so old business, anything?
I don't think so.
Building issues update?
Yes.
I was hoping that was blank, maybe that.
Yeah, I think I said that on a couple of meetings ago, and it jinxed me since. Our camera systems. I just actually spoke to the vendor, Traffic Solutions, right before the meeting to get an update. They are coming out next Tuesday to repair there's two cameras that are non-functioning. One has a connectivity issue underground, which is going to be a little bit more involved and take a little bit more time. Everything else on the pole does work. The other camera system, the camera itself, just needs to be replaced. So at least we'll have one back in service by the end of next week. After Tuesday, I'll get more of an update as far as the connectivity issue with the other camera and what that's really going to entail as far as repairs go. The elevator pit issue, I did mention that, I think, in the last meeting. We had water down there just because the pump died out. We were unaware of it, so it damaged some of the components down there. We're good for now. I will be putting a capital request to get that repaired, though, for next fiscal year. We experienced our IT server room, the air conditioning unit failed this past weekend. That's basically the brains of our IT infrastructure at the department. So when that goes down, it would be very catastrophic for our operations here. Thankfully, it was an easy fix. There was something with the fan motor that had to get kickstart. But we're looking at doing a capital request to get that repaired. We just got our 911 server room done, and the lifespan of that is pretty similar. So we'd like to get ahead of that before we experience any more issues. A couple hiccups with some of the locker room doors, but those been resolved.
This is in the women's locker? Yeah.
What's that?
In the female locker room?
Yeah, they're actually here today, and they fixed it. Hopefully it stays that way. That's about it as far as building issues.
Okay.
And Chief, I think going forward, we're going to have some more help from DPW in terms of new full-time equivalents, right? One that got hired and maybe call it 1.5 that's going to focus on the police department, right? Going forward.
Sounds that's the direction we're heading. I know it's
Yeah.
got approved by several town boards to this point. I don't know if it's finalized, but
Yeah,
we
one
will
more
have a full-time facilities coordinator here in-house.
Yeah.
To hopefully address, prevent, and stay on top of most of the issues that Captain Mastriani spends on a daily basis.
That would be good. Okay, traffic issues, Hollow Tree Ridge Road and Middlesex Road DOT improvement.
So I believe I sent an email to you all back earlier in the month. I was notified through the First Selectman's office and Public Works that the state DOT, and I believe you have a little map in here, has identified an intersection in town, and sounds like it qualified for some type of a safety upgrade. It's a signing and pavement marking improvements at unsignalized municipal intersections throughout southwestern Connecticut District 3. So I don't know what the criteria was to identify these intersections. This happened in January. I didn't have correspondence pertaining to it prior to this month, but apparently that Middlesex at Hollow Tree, where there's also two crosswalks. There's a crossing guard there, and it's a four-way stop. It looks like it's going to be upgraded with additional signage. And if you look at it, it's a tough to see map
I was
here.
going to
but-
say, I don't even know what we're looking at. It looks like Pac-Man.
So it's north to the top of the screen, and if you look on Middlesex Road as it enters from the right, moving left towards Stamford, not only are you going to have the existing stop sign on the right-hand side of the road as you're going towards Stamford, you're going to have a stop ahead sign prior to that, and on the other side of the road, but facing as you're heading towards Stamford, there's going to be an additional stop sign. There's a slight bend in the road that you don't see the current stop sign there, and I guess the state has identified that.
So this is all state-driven, state
State-driven.
paid for, state everything
Correct.
working obviously with it, but
So Chief, what is so there's 4 stop signs there today.
Yep.
The additional 5th, I didn't get that one, but the stop ahead I get.
there's
Yeah.
Stop ahead in all
where is that,
directions. Currently,
all
there's,
the 4 stop ahead signs.
The middle school here?
Middle school's here.
Yeah.
You're going to add that one.
On both sides.
No, I think there's just going to be 2. So if you remember, there's the wall comes up here,
Mhm.
and it's hard to see, I guess. So they're going to, hard to see this one, so I guess they're going to add that one.
Okay.
so I don't know of any other location in town that has stop signs on both sides of a two-way traffic road, but apparently that's a standard now. And they've proposed these sign location upgrades, and.
And we don't have much to say, right? I mean, we're
Yeah.
just.
Public
we're
Works
just
said
taking
any-
the forms of
Any
it.
signs in town
So
roads
you're
in Darien
facing-
need
so you can't see that
LTA
one,
approval.
but you're gonna see
Exactly, yeah.
It's got
On
it.
the bottom, right?
Yep.
Well,
almost
it's
like
hard
a,
to see.
Highway. Do not enter,
I
right?
mean, I'm not generally against more
Sure it's
signage.
needed, but-
It's hard.
Well, there are
this-
no-
This map is.
There are no stop ahead signs on any of those approaching that intersection.
Yeah, these
from
are
any
all
angle.
new.
So those
Are-
make a lot of sense.
Yes.
The additional stop sign, I guess that's a state recommendation.
So these 4 exist, 4 stop signs exist.
Correct.
So these are new, 4 new, and then this extra
Correct,
stop sign
exactly.
is new.
Have we had issues to your knowledge? I mean, with
Yeah, I'm
accidents
wondering
there or
why the
anything? I would
state
think
has
a lot of
never-
residents aren't gonna, I mean, I think it's pretty clear, but I'm not I'm not the expert,
I
but
can't
I
remember
think a lot of
if
residents aren't going to like
recent
that
incidences.
on both sides, you know?
I don't know.
We haven't any
I don't know
complaints
why
by
the state
residents, right?
came
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay.
and audited it. Does the state often kind of come through and
First I've heard, but
audit it?
first I've been involved in a conversation also.
Okay.
Okay.
So I believe according to Public Works, the LTA needs to either authorize that or not approve that.
Middlesex and Hollow Tree are both state roads?
No, they're local roads.
Yeah, I don't understand that, yeah. So, but the
Yeah,
state,
so I
I
don't
don't
understand.
understand it. So the state came through, though, as recommending these, just kind of out of the blue, without any residential feedback?
I can't say
or-
it's out of the blue. This is the first I've been involved in the conversation, but this has been going on since January.
With DPW and the state?
I don't know if DPW, it's been going on with all the different towns and cities in Connecticut since January. So part of this particular leg of the project involves Darien, New Haven, Hamden, East Haven, Fairfield, Greenwich, Milford, Monroe, and New Canaan. Most of those towns have several locations where they're upgrading signage. We only have the one that they've identified. I
So
don't know
can-
why it was
Do they get a
identified.
state grant that they need to go, I don't know.
It's a state project, it doesn't have, I don't know, like I said, I was never sent any of the documents
Reasoning behind
that
it.
led up to
So
this.
I'm going to make a suggestion, and, you know, all for, right, obviously, open discussion. I'm not the expert, but if we don't have an issue there today, right, I want to take into account what our residents and the look of the neighborhood and everything else. If we don't have a history of accidents or things such of that nature, if the stop sign is clear, which I think it is, but I've also lived here for, you both have lived here, three of you have lived here your entire lives, so you're familiar with it. I've been here maybe 25 years, so maybe a little biased, but I think I want to research this a little bit more, you know, before
Well,
saying that we
I
should
can
do
tell you
this,
that
right?
as of today, that sign is not clear. That single
It's
sign.
not clear from your
You do not see
perspective.
it until you're right on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel that
You
we
can-
need signs on both sides, or just the one that says stop sign ahead?
I find it's a little unusual because I've never seen it in town here before. But if that's a new regulation that maybe I'm not aware of, I could understand why. I don't think it's going to take away from the safety of the intersection. I think it can only improve it. But
Okay.
like I said, I don't see any other location there, know of any other location in town that has stop signs
No,
displayed in
like
that
that.
fashion. But, you know, with the foliage the way it is now and the vegetation the way it is now, you don't see that stop sign until you make that bend.
Okay.
But I also am not aware of any regular traffic accidents occurring there. I know we've had an occasional pedestrian hit there.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary, you know.
And there's no issue with the stop sign ahead where we place them, or we go out, do we have input into where those are placed?
I don't have that information.
And this is something that DPW would put in, or the state puts them in effectively?
I would guess the state. DPW normally does that, but I would guess the
Okay.
state in this instance.
I kind of like to work with them when we wake up one day and they're just put somewhere. I mean, I don't know. Can we just follow up with DPW or state DOT just to make sure when they arrive?
Just from the email thread, it sounds like DPW punted to us as far as approval goes.
Everyone's like,
So,
And it seems clear
so
to me that,
unusual.
Chief, based on your feedback, the stop sign ahead clearly makes sense, and if you're saying that best practice
Yeah.
is the other one, I would just maybe want to take a look at it, but
Yeah.
the stop sign ahead definitely makes sense for sure.
well, I can
Okay.
get back to.
Unless you
the
think
players
we're off
involved.
base, I mean, then,
I just think it's going to improve the
Yeah, I mean, it's,
intersection. Anything we can do to improve the safety of
Yeah, I just wanna make
that
sure that-
intersection, particularly there's so many kids there, go for it.
there are definitely a lot of kids there. Yeah, no, I just, if we have any, we do have neighbors and people, and if there's any flexibility in moving them around, maybe we can just chat with, I'm happy to vote on it. If DPW has put it in our agenda, we can definitely approve it, but how it gets executed, let's just stay on top of that to make sure they're in the right places and.
Okay, I can reach out and get some more
You know,
detailed
we-
information.
We can pass it and it doesn't have to come back to us, you guys, I mean,
Okay.
so I make a motion that we approve the placement of the 4 new traffic signs at the intersection of Middlesex Road and Hollow Tree Ridge Road as proposed by the state DOT.
I think, just to be accurate, they're 5. Can't be 5.
Oh, did I say?
There's 4
Yeah.
stop ahead
I
and
meant
1
5.
stop
Those are
sign.
the two on the
Whatever I
side,
said,
yeah.
I meant 5.
I'll second.
Any other questions?
No, I just want to make, is it the same size as well, the stop signs that we have today, or are these like big ones that you see coming off an intersection from the highway type of thing? Do we know? I mean, these are things we can discuss with them, I guess, but, yeah, I'm in agreement then.
Before we take, I'm assuming it's another, I mean, if it's anything materially different than what we would expect, a normal, regular sign, come back to us. Otherwise, no problem. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, new business. Lieutenant Moore and Sergeant Diorio to step 3 in respective ranks, effective 10/16/24.
I would make a recommendation to the commission to authorize Lieutenant Moore and Sergeant Diorio moving forward to step 3 in respect to their pay grade, effective October 16th.
No question. All right. I make a motion that we approve that to step 3. Anything else? All those in favor? All-night parking resolution, that is now a standing, we don't have to vote on it every year, so I will sign that. Rick, when is the all-night, but just so that, for the 3 people that are watching, the all-night parking regulations begin
December 1st.
December 1st.
And go to March 31st, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Assuming we get snow ever again.
Right.
Okay, probationary police officer hiring process. Say that 2 times fast.
Yeah, so currently we have, as you're aware, we have 3 spots currently open, and we'll have a 4th come January 1st. Our first round of interviews, we selected 1 candidate to move forward to the police commission. She was successful in that process. She passed the polygraph examination the following week, and yesterday she was just here to do the written element of the psychological exam. After that, she's going to get the interview portion of the psychological exam, which I believe is going to be scheduled for next week. If she's cleared after that, then it's just the background and medical. We conducted our second round of interviews. We selected 2 candidates to move forward. I believe the police commission interview for that is going to be next Thursday.
It is new.
And we're going to be scheduling a 3rd round of interviews. The date on that is to be determined.
Okay,
And that's to fill 3 current and 1 future that we know about position.
That's correct.
That's
We got seats
the-
saved in the
yeah.
academy, 2 different academies in January.
Stanford and,
Milford and Meriden.
Milford and Meriden.
Yep.
Are we using Stanford at all, or is it just a matter of availability?
I don't think they announced when they're going to have the next academy class
Okay.
as of now. But yeah, we would love to continue to utilize Stanford if.
We've
they
had
have
some
any-
good experience with them, right, Captain?
Yeah, yes, very good.
Okay, good.
Guess it depends where people live as well,
I
right?
was just
Which
going to
should make
say,
it
it
easier. Yeah.
depends on who
If
we
they
interview
commute,
and who we
yeah.
get. Well, this is half new business, half old business. Last meeting, there was a discussion about the new development and the new curb cut on Hecker. There were questions that the commission had. This was the response we received at 3 o'clock this afternoon, so as you can see, it was not on our agenda today. We will be digesting the responses. We have another 150-page document, so not exactly sure where we go, but it's not on our agenda. We've not forgotten about it. We are working on it. We're getting responses, and I don't think we ever vote. I think we provide feedback to planning and zoning, but we will continue to kick the tires, do our job, and try to work with them in a timely manner. With that, that ends our agenda. We are going to go into executive
And
session.
do we have to vote on the future agenda?
It was not up. I already signed it, but.
You did? Okay, fine.
Oh, okay.
We have our meeting schedule set for 2025. I have signed that, so that will be put into the town website. And our next meeting is scheduled for the 7th, but that seems too quick, maybe 14th or 21st? Anybody? I know planning.
21st is around, is that around Thanksgiving? People may be gone, so.
Thanksgiving's the 28th.
It's all
Thanksgiving.
28th, okay.
28th.
21st is a regular scheduled meeting date.
Yeah.
It's okay for me.
I think if we
The
have it-
only question is that planning and zoning is meeting on the 19th. I'm not sure if we, I don't know, I have to, I'm not sure we can get our feedback to them. But if that is a consideration, then the 14th wins out, but,
I'm not available on the 14th.
is everybody available on the 21st?
Yep.
And I think we don't have Rick the previous 2 weeks, right?
I'm not here the 2 Thursdays before.
So why don't we say the 21st? There's nothing that says we can't provide feedback to planning and zoning before then, but
Fair enough.
until otherwise notified, it's the 21st of November, and if we have to amend that because of something, we know it can't be the 14th because Kevin's not here, but we'll try to work around it. And we will go into executive session and we will conduct no business coming out, so with that, we are adjourned.